Hello everyone! Today I have a bit of a surprise for you guys since I'm going to be showing you two decks that showcase the card Slime Against Humanity. Now when taking a look at previews for the new set, this card stuck out to me, not as a card that was particularly powerful or format defining, but one that was pretty fun and I thought would be cool to make some decks about. So I'm going to start off by talking you through the standard deck list that I put together in mono green, fairly budget friendly as well, and then we're going to shift over into Brawl where I have another deck that showcases Slime Against Humanity the card. So let's talk a little bit about what this card does. It's a 3-mana card, and it's a sorcery, and when we cast it, we get to create a 0/0 ooze creature token with Trample. Now, Trample is pretty good here. Now, we also then get to put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 2 plus the total number of cards that we own in exile and in our graveyards that are oozes or named Slime Against Humanity. And our deck can have any number of these cards. So as you can tell here, we've got 17 copies of Slime Against Humanity in this deck, which is going to be really strong. So we're going to be seeing that card a whole bunch. And the rest of our cards synergize with this idea of getting this card into our graveyard a little bit more and casting it for a little bit cheaper and +1/+1 counters. So let's talk through what we've got here. We have Tail Swipe as removal. There was a new fight spell that was printed in the set, but Tail Swipe is better, so we're going to be using that instead. We also have the new card Aftermath Analyst. Now this actually does really well in our deck. When it enters the battlefield, we get to mill 3 cards, hopefully hitting Slime Against Humanity to kind of boost its number a little bit. And then we can also pay 4 mana and sacrifice it to return all lands from our graveyard to the battlefield tapped, which will help us cast Slime Against Humanity a little bit more often. Another card that does a similar thing is reveal the top 4 cards of our library and put all lands into our hand and the rest into our graveyard. So this is a great way to pitch Slime Against Humanity into the graveyard and also get ourselves more land drops. The Ozolith is a good inclusion as a 2-of, just because it's a legendary artifact. It acts kind of like Hardened Scales with the additional benefit of letting us pay 2 mana and tap to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control. Note that that +1/+1 counter is going to be 2 +1/+1 counters because of its ability there. We can also pay 2 mana to cycle this if we really need to find something else. Slime Against Humanity, we talked about that. And then here's another interesting addition. Cemetery Prowler. We're including 2 copies here. It has Vigilance. It's a 3/4, which is great stats for a 3-mana card. And whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, we get to exile a card from a graveyard, and spells that we cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. So, as a fun fact, exiling Slime Against Humanity from our graveyard with Cemetery Prowler will not impact the X value, but will also make them cost 1 less to cast. So that's really strong for us. And then we also have 4 copies of Tribute to the World Tree. This deck is a little bit weak when it comes to card draw, but with this out on the battlefield, we can be drawing cards each time we have a slime entering the battlefield, which is a great way to refill our hand. Lands are simple, 22, and 1 copy of Beseiju. Now, deck list for this is down in the description, but if you guys would prefer to see just the Brawl deck, you can go ahead and skip ahead in this video, and I'm going to talk about that deck a little bit later as well. Now, if you guys have been enjoying my content, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest videos, and if you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, going first here, I'm going to go ahead and keep. We don't have a lot to do in the early game, but on the play, that's kind of alright. Nice. Opponent starts with a tap land as well. And treasure map. Looks like they're looking to ramp. Let's go Tribute to the World Tree here. And actually, we're set up for some really strong turns. So, Slime Against Humanity, we're going to get a slightly bigger slime because of Tribute. Then the following turn, we can go Cemetery Prowler into Slime, exiling the one that we had cast. Yeah, our opponent's ramping. So I know that they'll have something very large to deal with. We definitely want to be generating some value pretty quickly, if we can. So let's go Slime Against Humanity here. Yep, get those extra +1/+1 counters. Our first slime's a 4/4. And now from here on out, others that we cast are going to be a little bit bigger. Alright, if Lily has us discard a card, I think that's a win. Nope, we sacrifice. That's fine.
Sacrifices must be made.
Yeah, so actually Liliana the Veil doesn't really do anything to our deck, since we do want those in our graveyard. Let's go Cemetery Prowler here. We'll draw a card. Exile Slime Against Humanity. That's gonna make all of our other sorceries cheaper. Get our 3/3, draw a card. Perfect. Next turn, we're gonna try emptying our hand and just filling the board with slimes. Pretty much only afraid of a board wipe at this point. Yeah, they're gonna tap and scry with the treasure map, almost certainly. Yep. Perfect. Now, maybe they pass to switch day to night. That's fine, no Prowler for us. 2 Slime Against Humanity's next turn. Sure. Yep. Plus Liliana. Yep. That's good. Our oozes are going to be bigger now. Alright. 6 mana, so let's go ahead and make our 5/5. Draw a card. Make our 6/6. Draw a card. Nice. Everything's looking good. Okay, they flip. They get some extra card draw, potentially, off their treasure tokens. I wouldn't be surprised to see them minus the Liliana here. If they do plus again, we're going to get rid of the forest. Our opponent's on a 2-turn clock, though, so they are going to have to deal with things. Yep, get rid of Lily. We ditch the smaller slime. If they have a removal spell, they have a removal spell. Okay, Lily. We'll sack the other one as well. All fine. Realm Breaker. Okay, so our opponent wants to mill us. I kind of love that. Let's go Cemetery Prowler. This will have us draw a card. Yep. Prowler. We draw Forest. We're gonna go ahead, exile Slime. And now we're gonna go Aftermath Analyst first to mill ourselves a little bit more. Hopefully we can get a bigger slime this way. It'll come in with some extra +1/+1 counters. We do hit Slime Against Humanity, so that gives us a bigger slime, and we'll draw an additional card here. Perfect, there's another one in our hand. Again, I really want them to start using Realm Breaker, too. The more of Slime Against Humanity copies we have in our graveyard, the better. And again, we're not really worried until we're looking at 14 or 15 for the Slime Against Humanity value in terms of not being able to draw it. We still have plenty in our deck. And good card draw with Tribute to the World Tree. Plus on Lily has us discard a forest. Opponent with only 1 card in hand. Only 1 land in our graveyard though, so definitely not going to be worth it to sacrifice the Aftermath Analyst. I'm thinking they're going to go ahead and sack a treasure to draw a card. Yep. Lots of different options. See, if they have another Shieldred's Edict, making us sack the token is probably good. Interesting. Okay. Discard you.
I'm tired of this.
Well, Slime Against Humanity. Draw a card. We'll play out the Ozolith. Slime Against Humanity. Draw a card. I'm not really concerned about anything our opponent would have gotten off of us. Alright, let's see. What's the best way to do this? I think... Do we even care about Lily? Vigilance, so let's put our +1/+1 counters on the Prowler. We'll swing like this. I will kill the Liliana just because I don't want our opponent to have that. And, I don't know, we'll go ahead hit that. We'll just exile that. That's fine. Down at 7. Again, this card here needs to be a board wipe for our opponent to have any chance of winning the game, because none of these cards that we have are going to be able to help them. Yep, draw a card. So that card doesn't do anything. Alright, draw and discard. They need something for 3 mana. I think we've got the game here. Yeah, cut down won't do it. Slime Against Humanity. Perfect. Good game. Alright, going first, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I like this opening hand. We don't have any Slime Against Humanity here, but that's fine. We draw our first one. I think we start with the Aftermath Analyst. Being kind to our opponent. 2 copies of Slime Against Humanity already in our graveyard. We're going to go Tribute to the World Tree next. We can actually be a little bit greedy, because we're going to be making bigger creatures, so Tribute to the World Tree. If they have a counterspell, they'll probably use it, but we've got it. And then depending on how aggressive our opponent's playing here, I think we're going to be in a good spot. Alright, let's take a look. So they do have counterspells. Interesting. So they're playing kind of maybe a mid-range control deck in blue-white, focusing on some graveyard recursion. That's fine. Alright, 4 mana, so I'm going to mulch here. See if we draw the counterspell. Perfect, 2 more copies of Slime Against Humanity. I'm not going to go ahead and cast the Ozolith into a counterspell that they'll clearly use. So I'm just going to attack here. Yep, hang on to our cards. We're going to play around the clear counterspell that they have. Sure. If they'd like to destroy our small creature, that's fine. Alright, let's think order of operations. I'm going to play the Ozolith first here. If they use Dissipate, then we're free to get a 6/6 slime. Yep. Easy. Getting the slime is more important, because that enables us to draw a card. Ledger Shredder. Sleight of Hand. Connives. Alright, yeah. So definitely, like, an odd mid-range control plan. Not too bad. We have a clearly stronger creature on the board, and we're up on lands for our opponent as well. Protect the Negotiators, alright. If we draw another Slime Against Humanity, I think that would be pretty cool. Fight spell could also be good, another Tribute. We have lots of options. Let's see. They wouldn't be able to use Cut Short here. So I'm trying to think of what their 1 mana interaction would be. Yep, looking at the graveyard. Keep in mind, we're fine if our graveyard gets exiled. Okay, Sleight of Hand again. Interesting. Alright. I'm gonna mulch here. We did get another Slime Against Humanity into the graveyard, so that means our next slime is gonna be even bigger. They connive, but again, that 1 extra power isn't gonna make the difference. Alright, lots of lands in our hand as well. We're presenting lethal if our opponent decides to attack us. They can, of course, block 5 of our damage, meaning we can bring them down to 2 next turn. Trample is very important here as well. You can already see how that's making such a big difference. We have Beseiju, which we can use on their fancy land if that starts becoming a problem for us as well. Hadi Jin, sure. Can't trade into our biggest slime, but might be able to, if they have something else. Yeah. I think we still swing out next turn. They can kill this slime, but it trades with the Djinn. Yep. So play the forest. Swing out. See what they've got. Do they want to take the 8? I mean, I suppose they can convoke, cut short. Okay, sure. We kill their larger creature. And then cast Slime Against Humanity, draw a card. Cast Slime Against Humanity, draw a card. They connive, sure, but 1 power isn't going to really do much. Again, even if they find a removal spell, we've got a 9-9 and a 10-10. Lots of ways for lethal here. We're going to keep Beseiju. Again, if their plan is to animate... Okay, sure. Tapped creature. Can't block. There we go. Channel Adawara. Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're tapped down, so we've got it. Good game. Alright, so as promised, here is my Brawl deck featuring Slime Against Humanity. And there's a couple of interesting things that I feel like are worth pointing out here. So first and foremost, our commander is Umori the Collector. Now, while Umori can be a companion, we are certainly not fulfilling the condition of having our deck contain only sorcery cards. We do want to have other oozes, and I felt like the Golgari Colors was a great way to showcase some of that, and we'll talk about our other oozes as well in a second. But the reason I picked Umori for our commander is not only is Umori also an ooze, but spells we cast of a type that we choose will cost 1 less to cast. So that means if we pick sorcery, we can turn all of our Slime Against Humanities into 2 mana cards, which is going to be really powerful for us in this game. Now, going through the deck, I'll try and make it quick. We do have the deck list down in the description if you have any further questions or if you can't catch something, but we've got Hardened Scales for extra +1/+1 counters. We've got the Ozolith to deal with our creatures dying and keeping +1/+1 counters, and Ochre Jelly is one of the oozes that we have. It does some fun things. We'll see if that happens. Now we have Go for the Throat and Heartless Act, just so we have a little bit of removal. And then Aftermath Analyst, as we had seen before, just to get some extra cards in our graveyard and potentially ramp us. We have Corrosive Ooze, which is just another ooze. And then Dragon's Guard Elite is an interesting card here. It has Magecraft to get +1/+1 counters, and we can double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Since we're going to be casting a sorcery, specifically Slime Against Humanity a whole bunch, Magecraft is actually really good in this deck. Now we have Mulch, like we'd seen before, getting more cards in our graveyard and finding lands. The other Ozolith, and then Scavenging Ooze to deal with our opponent's graveyard, potentially grows bigger over the course of the game. Arcane Signet's good ramp. Mesmeric Orb is going to let us get more cards in our graveyard, and of course, the more copies of Slime Against Humanity in our graveyard, the better for us. Mind Stone to ramp some more, and Swiftfoot Boots to protect Umori or one of our other oozes, or whatever we want to, really. And sometimes giving haste to a Slime Against Humanity that's 15-15, 17-17, or even higher is going to be enough to win the game, so that's why we're including that there. We have Cemetery Tampering. It has Hideaway 5. More often than not, we're going to be hitting Slime Against Humanity with it, but we have a couple other more expensive cards that we might want as well. At the beginning of our upkeep, we get to mill 3 cards, and then if we have 20 or more, we get to play that card, but importantly, by milling those cards, we get Slime Against Humanity into our graveyard. We got another ooze here. When it enters the battlefield, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and when it attacks, we put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control with a +1/+1 counter, so that's going to be pretty much all of them. Hydra's Growth is actually pretty fun here. We want to enchant one of our big oozes and then double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. This is great since most creatures in our deck are going to be huge tramplers with +1/+1 counters. Cemetery Prowler to make our Slime Against Humanity cheaper, which is also going to be good. Tribute to the World Tree for card draw. This is also a fun alchemy slime. Does some weird stuff. We can see more about that later. We've got this for self-mill. Gelatinous Cube kind of doubles as a removal spell, which is pretty fun. We can exile a non-ooze creature an opponent controls, so, anyone who's playing the ooze mirror matchup should shouldn't be concerned, but this is a great way for disrupting our opponent's board state, and as a 4/3 ooze, it's pretty strong. Acidic Slime has Death Touch, which makes it pretty good. We can also destroy one of our opponent's lands, an artifact, or enchantment, so high-value targets there. Biogenic Ooze makes more oozes. Gotta love that. Consuming Blob does a very similar thing. Gonna keep making oozes on end steps. And then Ave Progenitor Ooze. Now, Storm, we're probably not going to be taking advantage of that too much, just because we're not expecting to have too much mana. But it does enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each ooze we control, which should be a lot since almost every creature that we have here is an ooze except for the Dragon's Guard Elite. Mana base is fairly straightforward. We have Boseiju and Takenuma. Takenuma's kind of cool in this deck because even if we don't get one of our creatures back, we might mill more slimes against humanity, which could be what we need to win the game, and then a bunch of other lands in our colors, and then one copy of Cavern of Souls. This is just so that our oozes can't be countered. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. Alright, so going first here, we're going to take a mulligan. This is really good, actually. I'm really happy with this opening hand. We're playing up against the new Massacre Girl as well, so we get to kind of see a little bit of what that deck looks like also. Perfect. Going first, we're going to start with the turn 1 Ozolith. It's about as good as it goes. Next, we're going to play Mesmeric Orb. Looking good. Start milling some cards. Alright, black land. I'm actually going to go for the Aftermath Analyst here. We're going to play a little greedy. Cool, we get a Slime Against Humanity there. Put a stop on our opponent's end step, make sure we tap down that black land to mill extra off the orb. Alright. So maybe there's some poison counter synergy going on here. We're gonna see Massacre Girl hit... No, Phyrexian Obliterator. Alright. I'm actually fine with that. We've got Go for the Throat. So let's just kill Phyrexian Obliterator. I don't want to deal with that. And I don't want that to be damaging us. Stop on our opponent's end step again. Mill some more. Massacre Girl. Sure. We'll just tap down here. Nice. Everything's looking pretty good. We're going to choose Ooze here, and we're going to go for Slime Against Humanity. Get ourselves a 6/6. Stop on our opponent's end step. Next turn, we can go Hydra's Growth on our Ooze. Dread Presence, nice. 2 damage. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna go Hydra's Growth on this guy right here. Gonna be a 5/5. Swing for 5. We deal the damage. And now we'll stop. We have Slime Against Humanity, so we do want to be milling more cards. Yeah, and it doesn't matter what our opponent's really doing with their Wither creatures. We're in a good spot. Sure. Add a colorless mana, just to float it. I think we want another green land. Sure. 2. Plays land for turn. Could get it lower, but... Yep, land for turn, go down to 1. They won't have another land drop, though. Oh, nope. So they do go ahead and clear that. We do get our +1/+1 counter on the Ozolith, though, because that one doesn't get canceled out. Moving on to my turn. Alright, well, Slime Against Humanity. Here's a 9/9. Gonna make it a 10/10. Good luck dealing with that. Massacre Girl is still a problem. But I do think we're in a good spot. Sweet, okay. Fatal Push. Go ahead, tap down. They skipped attacks for whatever reason. We'll mill all these cards. And then we'll get a 20/20 or bigger slime. Actually, let's play both out here. Let's go Umori. Sorcery. Cast. Yep, don't know what they're thinking about just yet, but... Cling to Dust. Yeah, sure, exiles that. Whether or not it's in exile or not, it still has all of that. And then we're just gonna boost this guy up to be a 23/23. Opponent's milling some more cards. I mean, we're almost threatening lethal here already. So that's pretty good. Sure, exile our graveyard. It doesn't really matter at all. Immortal Sun. Yep, we don't have Planeswalkers. Okay. Mill a bunch. Bunch of Slime Against Humanities. It would be great to draw another one. But we instead find Nurturing Peatland. So we're going to sack it to draw a card. And we just find a different land. Move to combat and swing for 23. Yep. Thinking about blocking. It has Trample. There wouldn't really be too much value in our opponent blocking this. Alright, down to 3. Put a stop on our opponent's end step. And honestly, might as well look through their graveyard as well. Take a look at what they got for their deck. The extra card draw is kind of nice. Decent amount of proliferating to deal with the -1/-1 counters. It's a fun deck. Yeah, 2 damage. That's fine. Kills Umori. Back in the command zone you go. Yep. We're not going to put the -1/-1 counters on anything. Now, the important thing is whether or not they can actually deal with that creature. Sure, down to 10. Moving to my turn, we'll mill a bunch of cards first. Yeah, Slime Against Humanity is going to be pretty huge. Yeah, alright. So we'll go ahead, cast this out, get a 23/23 slime. Hold on to that land because we don't need it. Let's see. Honestly, we'll give the counters over to you. And we'll swing out for 23. And if this doesn't work, we've got another turn. Alright, Orcish Bowmaster shouldn't do it. Again, unless they have a spell that would kill this creature, we're going to win the game here. Ooh, drawing a card. See, 2 mana. Lots of 2 mana black spells will do the trick, but they did not find one of them. That's a good game. Alright everyone, so as we saw, Slime Against Humanity is capable of doing really well, even against some strong decks within the format. That being said, it's by no means a tier 1 deck and definitely a little bit out there. But I would advise that you definitely focus on that early game setup. You're going to need to be up against an opponent who doesn't have a very aggressive early game plan to kind of give you that time to start scaling your Slime Against Humanity with your mill options and things like that. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you have any ideas for another deck that you'd like to see me play, why don't you let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.